After 3 months, I have to become a journeyman. He will become a journeyman in 3 months.
3 ay sonra kalfalık yapacak.
We cannot lock it. We cannot lock it.
Kilitleyemeyiz.
I may not be able to measure later. I may not be able to measure later.
Daha sonra ölçemeyebilirim.
Wasn't I 3 games in the morning before? Isn't 3 games in the morning common before?
Daha önce sabah 3 maç yaygın değil mi?
Neighbor's waiter. Neighbor's waiter.
Komşuları garson.
Was our stepson a pie player? Is our stepson pie player general?
Üvey oğlumuz boru döşemeyicisi genel mi?
Could he not walk? Can't walk? We shouldn't imply every year. We should not imply a year to it.
Ona yıl ima etmemeliyiz.
We would not experience. We would not experience.
Deneyimlemezdik.
Couldn't they have denied it 4 weeks ago? Couldn't they deny it 4 weeks ago?
4 hafta önce inkar edemezler mi?
Can they call? Can they call?
Arayabilirler mi?
I am not the annual captain. I am not the annual captain.
Ben yıllık kaptan değilim.
Don't we rarely have to get manicures? Aren't we rarely required to have abortions?
Nadiren kürtaj yaptırmamız gerekmiyor mu?
His brother-in-law is a shipper. His brother-in-law is a shipper.
Kayınbiraderi nakliyecidir.
Were you producing? Did you bring?
Getirdiğin.
Were our cousins farmers? Our cousins farmer production?
Kuzenlerimiz çiftçi üretimi.
I shouldn't continue. I can't go on.
Devam edemem.
Were we always alive? Always survive?
Hep hayatta kalmak.
Isn't it a hairdresser next year? Isn't it a hairdresser next year?
Seneye kuaför değil mi?
Did he kiss? Did he kiss?
Öptü mü?
Will it then stop at 3 a.m.? Will it then stop at 3 a.m.?
Daha sonra gece yarısı 3'te duracak mı?
Could not communicate. Could not communicate.
İletişim kuramıyordu.
Are their nephews an oncologist? Are their nephews an oncologist?
Yeğenleri onkolog mu?
Is our stepson an intensive care specialist? Is our stepson a care-intensive specialist?
Üvey oğlumuz bakım yoğun uzmanı mı?
His half-brother is a grocer. His half-brother is a grocer.
Üvey erkek kardeşi bakkaldır.
Couldn't he touch it? Can't touch?
Dokunamaz.
His friend was a manager. His friend was a manager.
Arkadaşı yöneticiydi.
Won't it solve? Won't it solve?
Çözmeyecek mi?
Your grandfather is a reporter. Your grandfather is a reporter.
Senin deden muhabir.
Don't we remember 2 nights ago? Don't you remember before 2 evenings?
2 akşamdan önce hatırlamıyor musunuz?
Is his friend a geographer? Is his friend a geographer?
Arkadaşı coğrafyacı mı?
You will be examined in 3 weeks. You will be examined in 3 weeks.
3 hafta sonra muayene olacaksınız.
Is his stepbrother a baker? Is his half-brother a baker?
Üvey kardeş fırıncı mı?
Do I have to teach in a minute? Do I have to teach in a minute?
1 dakika sonra ders vermem gerekiyor mu?
You can talk weekly. You can talk weekly.
Haftalık olarak konuşabilirsiniz.
Wouldn't he touch? Not to touch?
Dokunmamak mı?
Would it be suitable at dusk? Would it be suitable at dusk?
Alacakaranlıkta uygun olur mu?
Can play every day. Can play every day.
Her gün oynayabilir.
Rarely does it match? Sometimes it doesn't match?
Bazen eşleşmiyor mu?
Could not reflect at dawn. Could not reflect at dawn.
Şafakta yansıtamadı.
Can't fly? Can't fly?
Uçamaz mı?
We shouldn't create every day. We must create every day.
Her gün yaratmalıyız.
I shouldn't be a banker in 2 weeks. After 2 weeks he should not be a banker.
2 hafta sonra bankacı olmamalıdır.
Should it break? Should it break?
Kırmalı mı?
We should never return. We should never return.
Asla dönmemeliyiz.
His daughter was a grocer. His daughter was a grocer.
Kızı bakkaldı.
Shouldn't I be a sports reporter then? Shouldn't I be a sports reporter then?
O zaman spor muhabirliği yapmamalı mıyım?
They were exploring. They were exploring.
Keşfediyorlardı.
Can't you wash next year? Can't wash next year?
Gelecek yıl yıkanamıyor musunuz?
I won't leave. I won't leave.
Ayrılmam.
Don't they have to finalize it every month? Don't they have to finalize it every month?
Her ay sonuçlandırmaları gerekmiyor mu?
Wouldn't you be chosen? Pregnancy restriction?
Hamiles kısıtlaman.
Should not be created often. Should not be created often.
Sık sık yaratmamalı.
I shouldn't have been arrested earlier. I shouldn't have been arrested earlier.
Daha önce tutuklamamalıyım.
Mustn't find out now. Must learn now.
Şimdi öğrenmeli.
Cannot enjoy 10 years. Cannot enjoy 10 years.
10 yılın tadını çıkaramaz.
Our half-brother was a songwriter. Our half-brother was a songwriter.
Üvey kardeşimiz söz yazarıydı.
Her mother-in-law was a miner. Her mother-in-law was a miner.
Kayınvalidesi madenciydi.
Was our stepson a pipe player? Is our stepson pipe player general?
Üvey oğlumuz boru döşemeyicisi genel mi?
Could he visit next year? Can I visit next year?
Gelecek yıl ziyaret edebilir miyim?
Could you butcher last year? Could it be wrong to butcher last year?
Geçen yıl kasaplık yanlış olabilir mi?
His mother-in-laws were educators. His mother-in-laws were educators.
Kayınvalideleri eğitimciydi.
Should they be admins soon? Should they be players soon?
Yakında oyuncular olmalılar mı?
My son was a hydrologist. Was a hydrologist.
Hidrologdu.
You don't kill after 2 nights. You don't kill after 2 nights.
2 akşam sonra öldürmezsin.
Didn't he suppress? Didn't he suppress?
Bastırmadı mı?
We may not work at sunrise. We may not work at sunrise.
Gün doğumunda çalışmayabiliriz.
Can babysit. Can babysit.
Bakıcılık yapabilir.
Were my children linguists? My children linguist generalization?
Çocuklarım dil bilimci genelleme.
Wouldn't it add at dawn? Doesn't it add dawn?
Şafak vakti eklemez.
Will they not inform? Can they get news?
Haber gelebilirler mi?
Was their grandmother a beautician? Telling grandmother's beautician?
Büyükanneleri güzellik uzmanı anlatmak.
Should I go to the virologist after a month? Should I go to the virologist after a month?
Bir ay sonra viroloğa gitmeli miyim?
Weekly streamer? Weekly streamer?
Haftalık yayıncı mı?
We're not missing anytime soon. We'll be gone soon.
Yakında eksik olacağız.
Can't he usually be a musician? Can't play musician?
Müzisyen oynamak olamaz mı?
Your half-brother is the inspector. Your half-brother is the inspector.
Üvey kardeşin müfettiş.
Does my grandma draw? Does my grandma draw?
Büyükannem çizer mi?
His grandchildren were porters. His grandchildren were porters.
Torunları kapıcıydı.
Can you be sure now? Can I be sure now?
Hemen emin olabilir miyim?
You cook it 3 days in advance. You cook for 3 days.
3 gün boyunca pişiriyorsunuz.
Wouldn't they be professors by noon? Don't they become professors in the afternoon?
Öğleden sonra profesör olmazlar.
His father was a librarian. The heir was the library.
Mirasçı kütüphaneydi.
I was translating every month. I get translations every month.
Her ay çevirmenlik alıyorum.
Can wake up. Can wake up.
Uyanabilir.
You can lie next year. Don't lie next year.
Gelecek yıl yalan konuşmasın.
Our grandfather was a homeowner. Our grandfather was a homeowner.
Dedemiz ev sahibiydi.
Do you have to apply? Do you have to apply?
Başvurmak zorunda mısın?
Are we monthly? Did we set it monthly?
Aylak mı ayarladık?
Is his half-brother an optician? Is his half-brother an optician?
Üvey kardeşi gözlükçü mü?
Should it be voiced? Should it be voiced?
Seslendirmeli mi?
Will it break at sunset? Will it break at sunset?
Gün batımında kırılacak mı?
Is his wife a programmer? Is his wife a programmer?
Eşi programcı mı?
4 weeks from the police, right? 4 weeks from the police, right?
4 hafta sonra polis değil mi?
He could not guess. He could not guess.
Tahmin edemezdi.
She should have done vocals before. She should have done vocals before.
Daha önce vokal yapması gerekiyordu.
Can I return often? Can I return often?
Sık sık dönebilir miyim?
Were his parents foremen? Are his parents a foreman?
Anne babası ustabaşı mı?
My mother-in-law was an acrobat. My mother-in-law was an acrobat.
Kayınvalidem cambazdı.
Soon there was no barber. Was not close.
Yakın berber olmadı.
Do you understand? Do you understand?
Anlayabiliyor musun?
His brothers were lecturers. It was a boys' education course.
Erkek çocuk eğitimi kursuydu.
Couldn't he report sometimes? Can't report sometimes?
Bazen rapor veremez misiniz?
We were able to become governor 4 centuries ago. We were able to be valid 4 centuries ago.
4 asır önce geçerli olabildik.
Is her aunt a jockey? Is her aunt a jockey?
Teyzesi jokey mi?
I can create. I am creative.
Yaratıcıyım.
Shouldn't they be bus drivers at 3 p.m.? Shouldn't they be bus drivers at 3 p.m.?
Öğleden sonra 3'te otobüs şoförü olmasınlar mı?
It wouldn't be over soon. It wouldn't be over soon.
Yakında bitmeyecekti.
Is your cousin a scientist? Is your cousin a scientist?
Kuzenin bilim adamı mı?
We can take it out. We have to take it out.
Çıkarmalıyız.
The developer would be 10 years. Developer year.
Geliştirici yıl olur.
Didn't I install? Didn't I install?
Kurmadım mı?
Were his children soldiers? Children enter soldiers?
Çocukları asker enter.
I can't shoot warriors every year. I can't shoot warriors every year.
Ben her yıl savaşçı ateş edemem.
His wife is a cop. His wife is a cop.
Eşi polistir.
It can wait. It can wait.
Bekleyebilir.
Should it be voiced? Should it be voiced?
Seslendirmeli mi?
Should laugh often. Should laugh often.
Sık sık gülmeli.
Should I be a blogger after 5 days? Should I be a blogger after 5 days?
5 gün sonra blogger olmalı mı?
Can't I suspect? Can't I suspect?
Şüphelenemez miyim?
Will it besiege? Will it besiege?
Kuşatacak mı?
We cannot deny. We cannot deny.
İnkar edemeyiz.
You won't talk later. You will talk later.
Sonra konuşacaksın.
Am I not a daily blogger? Am I not a daily blogger?
Günlük blog yazarı değil miyim?
Descendants are sailors. Descendants are sailors.
Torunları denizcidir.
They should not be set. They need settings.
Ayarlamaları gerekir.
Did you remember? Take it.
Götürün mü?
We are injured. We are injured.
Yaralıyız.
Usually a sportscaster. Usually a sportscaster.
Genellikle spor spikeri olabilir.
Won't they suffer every week? Won't they suffer every week?
Her hafta acı çekmeyecekler mi?
Would it have passed? Will you pass?
Geçmiş olur musun?
They can paint soon. They can paint soon.
Yakında boyayabilirler.
I'd be back in 2 minutes. I'd be back in 2 minutes.
2 dakika sonra dönerdim.
Relatives were messengers. Relatives were messengers.
Akrabaların haberciydi.
Shall we be messengers at dawn? Shall we be messengers at dawn?
Şafakta haberci olacak mıyız?
We wouldn't be arrested every week. Week would not be arrested.
Haftası tutuklanmayacaktı.
My husband is an ironer. My husband is an ironer.
Kocam ütücü.
We can usually improve. We can usually improve.
Genellikle geliştirebiliriz.
He won't be doing his internship right away. He won't be doing his internship right away.
Hemen staj yapmayacak.
Can't be a daily vocalist? Can't be a daily vocalist?
Günlük vokalist olamaz mı?
May not pass after a year. May not pass after a year.
1 yıl sonra geçemeyebilir.
They would cut. They would cut.
Keserlerdi.
Your grandfather is a singer. Your grandfather is a singer.
Senin deden şarkıcı.
We do not add weekly. We do not add weekly.
Haftalık olarak eklemiyoruz.
Our husband is a filmmaker. Our husband is a filmmaker.
Eşimiz sinemacı.
Do we have to write a diary? Do we have to write a diary?
Günlük yazmak zorunda mıyız?
His family is a pilot. Pilot family.
Pilot ailesi.
He became a shoemaker 2 weeks later. He became a shoemaker 2 weeks later.
2 hafta sonra kunduracı oldu.
You will become an economist. You will become an economist.
Ekonomist olacaksın.
Can't vote? Can't vote?
Oy kullanamaz mı?
Why not monthly? Why not monthly?
Aylık neden olamaz mı?
Rarely can he not own a house? Rarely can he not own a house?
Nadiren ev sahibi olamaz mı?
Did he allow it at dusk? Did he allow it at dusk?
Alacakaranlıkta izin verdi mi?
Were our children educators? Are children educator libraries?
Çocuklarımız eğitimci kütüphaneleri.
I can laugh. I can laugh.
Gülebilirim.
He wouldn't dance. He wouldn't dance.
Dans etmezdi.
Didn't he attack 5 years ago? Didn't he attack 5 years ago?
5 yıl önce saldırmadı mı?
I may not be able to prepare. I may not be able to prepare.
Hazırlayamayabilirim.
Couldn't he be a concierge then? Couldn't he be a concierge then?
O zaman kapıcı olamaz mı?
I may not be able to post it after 4 weeks. I may not be able to post it after 4 weeks.
4 hafta sonra koyamayabilirim.
I'm not a Czech. I'm not a Czech.
Çek değilim.
Were you always the captain? Are you always captain move?
Sen hep kaptan hareketin.
Can you appreciate? Can it be wrong?
Yanlış kabul edebilir mi?
Need to wait now? Need to wait now?
Hemen beklemeniz mi gerekiyor?
Shouldn't he kill for 15 days? Shouldn't he kill for 15 days?
15 gün öldürmesi gerekmez mi?
Never an editor? Never an editor?
Asla editör değil mi?
Did I understand? Do I understand?
Anlar mıyım?
Brother-in-law jury. Brother-in-law jury.
Kayınbiraderi jürisi.
You can never learn. You can never learn.
Asla öğrenemezsin.
Your cousins were garbage collectors. Your cousins were garbage collectors.
Kuzenleriniz çöp toplayıcıydı.
Can't I teach? Can't I teach?
Öğretemez miyim?
Won't you prove it every year? Can't you prove it every year?
Her yıl kanıtlayamayacak mısın?
Am I a night watchman right now? Can I become a night watchman now?
Hemen gece bekçisi olabilir miyim?
Their mother-in-law was decorator. Their mother-in-law was decorator.
Kayınvalideleri dekoratördü.
Can't you suppress? Can't you suppress?
Bastıramıyor musun?
Can't I be a pharmacist every month? Am I a management expert every month?
Her ay yöneticilik uzmanı mıyım?
Encouraged. Encouraged.
Teşvik etti.
Can I be a weightlifter? Can I be a weightlifter?
Halterci olabilir miyim?
We don't get caught weekly. We don't get caught weekly.
Haftalık olarak yakalanmıyoruz.
Did we order until 1 week ago? Was the command given until 1 week ago?
Bir hafta öncesine kadar komut verilmiş mi?
Sometimes they need to be cold. Sometimes they need to be cold.
Bazen üşümeleri gerekir.
Is my husband a vocalist? Is my husband a vocalist?
Kocam vokalist mi?
That name. That name.
O isim.
Does it mean noon? Does it mark noon?
Öğle vakti mi işaretliyor?
After 3 nights, we wouldn't be defending. After 3 nights, we wouldn't be defending.
3 gece sonra savunma yapmazdık.
Would he borrow monthly? Does he borrow monthly?
Aylık borç alır mı?
Can't we just lay pipes then? Can't we just lay pipes then?
O zaman boru döşeyemez miyiz?
Can you babysit every year? Can you babysit every year?
Her yıl bebek bakıcısı olabilir mi?
1 minute later they are the magistrates. After 1 minute they are the magistrates.
1 dakika sonra sulh hakimidirler.
Shouldn't it be borrowed? Should it be borrowed?
Borçlanmalı mı?
They would win. They would win.
Kazanırlardı.
Your grandmother was an inspector. Grandma was an inspector.
Büyükanne müfettişti.
You wouldn't dance occasionally. You wouldn't dance occasionally.
Ara sıra dans etmezdin.
Was he posting weekly? Was he posting weekly?
Haftalık mı gönderiyordu?
After 3 months we have to convince. Persuasion penalty after 3 months.
3 ay sonra ikna cezası.
Couldn't they have an affair later in the morning? Can't they arrive later in the morning?
Daha sonra sabah bir ulaşamazlar mı?
We're doing architecture right now. We're doing architecture right now.
Hemen mimarlık yapıyoruz.
Couldn't he have been an officer at 5 o'clock the previous evening? Couldn't he be an officer at 5 o'clock the previous evening?
Bir önceki akşam 5'te memur olamaz mı?
Cannot communicate. Cannot communicate.
İletişim kuramaz.